Some brioche, but the mousse was not as fine as the second one. I found the mousse was disappeared a bit faster on this one, and even in the glass, this one is still going. This one is gone. There was like least aging here, ready milk brioche. I could taste it a little bit more, and there's some like depth there, which I thought was coming from the Pinot, more from the other grapes.
Them on the nose, butter, the breath, but now what is still standing out for me is the chaff.
On
the first one. Number one. So I call it a Chardonnay Pinot Noir.
I was getting ripe pineapple and apricot flavors, dry. I also said it's Chardonnay dominant and from South Africa.
My name is Victoria Mulumunyoki, and I have been in the wine industry in Kenya for just over a decade.
I am also one of the directors of the wine shop, and we are wine importation, distribution, and wine shop retail space, as well as restaurant and wine bar.
I work for DeFries African Ventures, an amazing company which brings in a premium wine. So it's been part of my journey to get to also join and grow in the team, with the team.
I've been a wine enthusiast for a bit over 10 years now, and I'm really, really excited to be going to France for this competition.
I joined this competition because how could I say no to joining a group of 5 Kenyan women representing Kenya in the World Blind Tasting Competition.
Wine has always been a continuous journey for me, and always about pushing yourself and challenging yourself, and this competition is the epitome of that. It's the first time that Kenya is going to be represented at the international table, and I think it has definitely earned itself a seat at the table. We have qualified sommeliers here, we have people with real talent, and I think it's now time for us to step onto the international stage.
The criteria for joining the Team Wine Kenya was simply you had to have an education background in wine, so a knowledge of up to WSET level 3. You had to have a lot of passion, experience in the industry, and more importantly, you had to have demonstrated strength and resilience and a strong interest to be part of a team. So coincidentally, we are all females, and we just came together because all the ladies were ready and willing to train together in a short period of time and go through the intensity of what's required to be a member of a team.
This opportunity, it's not just about the 5 of us going, we are representing the rest of the country. And for us to be invited to compete on such a huge global level is really, really impactful, because that means that we are making an impact in spaces that traditionally or before we were not looked at as players or people who have something to say.
Joining an all-female wine team is exciting because it's a first in Kenya, and you also get to explore and experience our skills and grow as well. So it's a very big thing for us for now. It's history in the making.
I was very scared of wine the first time. I was intimidated in a group of professionals, these women you see. And the moment I spoke to one of them and she told me, take your fear, turn it to something bigger, that's when I fell in love with it.
Wine found me for sure. I was doing something completely different. I was in the NGO world, I was working for the UN. A pregnancy later, I had a very enhanced bouquet and palate, and that served me well in my wine journey. It's been a family business, and so it's something that I share very passionately and closely with my family, and they have now entrusted me as well into the business. And so I left the corporate world and I went into the wine world. It was a big leap of faith, but it's been a continuous journey of education, learning, opportunities like this.
I discovered wine seriously in around 2011, 2012, and it's purely out of curiosity. because I used to see people in magazines and on film talk about wine so deeply and passionately, and I was like, it's just a drink, so what's so important about it? So when I decided to delve into it, that's when I learned how complex wine is.
We train every day together, and then we also read every day separately. So you're required to taste by yourself, go through your notes, go through the theoretical knowledge, because that's the backbone of this competition, this championship. If you do not know your Chardonnay from your Chenin or your Cabernet Sauvignon from your Syrah, then it is impossible to identify the wines blind, let alone not blind.
At the moment, Nairobi, there is a wine school. It's called the Hospitality Competence Center, and through that you can do a wine course. Every 2-3 months they have a class. There's a level 1, which is a day's course, basic wine knowledge. Anyone who has any curiosity would love this course, and from that you can even join the wine industry. You can start with the basic knowledge and you can be a F&B manager, you can be a sommelier in a hotel, you can be a wine importer, you can own a wine shop, you can be a wine educator, you can be a wine content creator. You can do anything right now, and it's so ripe because we're a handful of people and there's all these people with interest in wine. Right now, wine as a career is definitely up. I would recommend to anyone who's interested.
I'm currently level 2 WSET, and I'll be sitting for my level 3 examination in a few weeks. So I guess this is good practice.
Kenya is really picking up hot on the heels of F&B and hospitality. It's always been a very beer drinking nation, but I think wine is definitely the new hot ticket. Kenyans are very curious and very open to trying new things, and I think wine is definitely something that is now focused at the dinner table for Kenyans at home. And I think competitions like this, sommelier associations, people in the wine industry, people in the trade, pushing wine as the agenda is really going to put Kenya on the map. I mean, South Africa has always been on the map because of their vineyards and their trade and their commerce. And they have a lot of support in terms of forming sommeliers and educating and grooming them. I think Kenya is now at a place where it can do this and it can form a proper sommelier association.
Wine tasting is a memory game. The more you taste, the more you smell, the better you become. I don't mean smell and taste wine, I mean smell and taste everything. What do lilies smell like? Do you know? What do violets smell like? So if you come across these things, the more you smell and bank this memory, the better you become at tasting, smelling. That's why we managed to join a competition like this.
Wine is very expensive in Kenya. And for us to be able to practice every day and go through a minimum of 12 wines per session, we are supported by the importers. They have been very generous and benevolent towards this cause. They are supporting us with giving us free wine to practice with. They're opening up their doors so we are sitting at their premises. And they're giving us that moral support that we badly need. We haven't done this before. We are participating blind to a blind wine tasting competition. The other support that we are getting is we have had a few sponsors from individual fundraising, and that goes back and forth from one venue to another. But we are looking for a corporate sponsor to enable us to travel to France, put us up there, participate in the competition, and bring back the cup to Kenya.
The fact that we're an all-female team and then we're going to France and we're going to represent Kenya for the first time in history is a great opportunity, and I'm very honored and privileged to be part of it.